April 21, 1971. While government radio played somber music announcing 3 days of national mourning, in homes across Haiti, people celebrated in whispers. François Papa Doc Duvalier, one of history's most ruthless dictators, was dead at 64. His official portrait showed a dignified statesman, but his true legacy was written in blood. Over 30,000 Haitians murdered, hundreds of thousands forced into exile, and a nation's democratic institutions systematically dismantled. As his body lay in state, the question haunting Haiti wasn't just who would rule next, but whether the nation could ever recover from his 14-year reign of terror. This video examines the devastating legacy François Duvalier left behind at his death in 1971, a shattered nation whose wounds remain unhealed today. By understanding the true scope of Papa Doc's destruction, we can recognize how Haiti's current challenges aren't random misfortunes, but the deliberate results of systems he created to maintain control at any cost. Historical context. When Duvalier took power in 1957, Haiti was already struggling with the after-effects of American occupation and a series of unstable governments. Yet despite these challenges, democratic institutions still functioned, a vibrant press existed, and civil society organizations operated independently. Haiti's economy, while never prosperous, sustained its population primarily through agriculture. Within 14 years, Duvalier transformed this impoverished but functioning society into a totalitarian nightmare. Using a combination of violence, mysticism, and strategic manipulation of Haiti's racial divisions, he created a system of control so complete that even after his death, Haitians would struggle to imagine alternatives to dictatorship. His final act, installing his 19-year-old son as successor, revealed his ultimate vision: Haiti not as a republic, but as the Duvalier family's fiefdom. The human cost. Duvalier's most visible legacy was mass death. Through his Tonton Macoutes and military forces, he killed an estimated 30,000 to 60,000 Haitians, roughly 1% of the national population. Unlike other dictators who targeted specific political groups, Duvalier's terror was deliberately unpredictable. Anyone could become a victim, from prominent opponents to ordinary citizens who caught a Macoutes' attention. His regime perfected psychological torture at notorious Fort Demanche prison, where thousands disappeared without trial. Bodies were often displayed publicly as warnings. This systematic terror created a generational trauma that continues shaping Haitian families psychologically today. A deep fear of political participation and distrust of state institutions that undermines democratic development. The Diaspora creation. Duvalier's repression triggered Haiti's first major exodus, fundamentally altering the nation's demographic trajectory. His regime specifically targeted educated professionals, doctors, teachers, engineers, forcing an estimated 80% of Haiti's skilled workforce into exile. This deliberate brain drain served Duvalier's interests by removing potential opposition while ensuring Haiti would remain dependent on foreign expertise. In the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed is king. The first wave of boat people appeared in 1970, risking death at sea rather than continuing under his rule. By his death, hundreds of thousands had fled, creating Haitian communities in Montreal, New York, Miami, and Paris. This mass emigration transformed Haiti from a populated, productive nation into an increasingly depopulated landscape dependent on remittances, a pattern that continues accelerating today. The institutional collapse. Perhaps Duvalier's most enduring legacy was the systematic destruction of Haiti's democratic institutions. He didn't merely control these institutions, he hollowed them out and replaced their functions with personal loyalty networks. The legislature became a rubber stamp. The judiciary executed his vendettas rather than justice. The military transformed from a national defense force into his personal security detail. Most critically, he destroyed the concept of public service. replacing it with a predatory model where government positions existed to extract wealth, not provide services. By his death, Haiti's government functioned not as a public administration, but as an organized criminal enterprise designed to transfer national resources to the Duvalier family and their supporters. The economic devastation. When Duvalier died, Haiti had become one of the poorest nations in the Western Hemisphere, a position it has maintained ever since. His economic legacy included the complete looting of the treasury, with an estimated 80% of foreign aid and tax revenue diverted to personal accounts. International financial institutions estimated that the Duvalier family stole between $500 million and $900 million, equivalent to billions in today's dollars. Beyond theft, his policies destroyed productive capacity. Agricultural investment vanished as rural areas were treated as extraction zones rather than development priorities. Industries collapsed under predatory taxation. By 1971, Haiti's economic infrastructure had deteriorated so severely that recovery would require not mere reform, but complete reconstruction, a challenge that remains unmet 50 years later. The cultural poisoning. Duvalier's most insidious legacy was the corruption of Haiti's cultural and spiritual foundations. He perverted the concept of black empowerment by using Noiriste language while maintaining a color-stratified society. He weaponized Vodou, transforming a spiritual practice centered on healing and community into a tool of intimidation. Most destructively, he normalized violence as a political tool, creating cultural acceptance of brutality as the natural language of power. This normalization of violence created fertile ground for the armed groups that continue to destabilize Haiti today. A direct lineage exists between the Tonton Macoutes methods and contemporary gang structures. Present day. Impact. 50 years after Duvalier's death, his legacy remains Haiti's defining challenge. The institutions he destroyed have never been fully rebuilt. The security apparatus he created evolved but never fundamentally reformed. The economic extraction model he perfected continues through different actors. Most importantly, the psychological damage, what Haitians call the Duvalier mentality, remains embedded in political culture. This mentality includes extreme centralization of power, distrust of democratic processes, acceptance of violence as political expression, and the expectation that government exists to enrich officials rather than serve citizens. Haiti's ongoing crises of governance aren't separate from Duvalier's legacy. They're its direct continuation, as each new leadership has operated within the frameworks he established rather than dismantling them. Understanding Duvalier's devastating legacy challenges us to recognize a crucial truth. Haiti's current struggles aren't the result of cultural failings or inherent ungovernability, but the deliberate product of systems designed to prevent effective democracy. The failed state narrative obscures the fact that Haiti's institutions were systematically dismantled by design. This recognition is essential for the diaspora because it shifts our understanding from fatalistic acceptance of Haiti's challenges to recognizing them as manufactured conditions that can be unmade through equally deliberate reconstruction. True sovereignty requires more than removing dictators. It demands rebuilding the democratic infrastructure they destroyed. Our liberation begins with recognizing that what appears as chaos is the predictable outcome of systems functioning exactly as Duvalier intended them to function. If this history moved you, share this video to help others understand how Haiti's present challenges connect directly to Duvalier's destructive legacy. Like, subscribe, and check the link in our bio for resources on supporting Haitian-led initiatives focused on democratic institution building. The truth about Duvalier has been systematically obscured because understanding his deliberate dismantling of Haiti's institutions would require acknowledging international complicity in maintaining the systems he created. By spreading this knowledge, we take the first step toward breaking free from patterns established during his reign. Together, we can finally begin building the Haiti our ancestors envisioned. not by ignoring our painful past, but by confronting it directly.